Make this year the start of your journey to authentic sales success. Welcome to the 2023 Authentic Selling Challenge, brought to you by our partners at the Y Institute, From the Heart Cards, and Selling from the Heart Insiders Group. Each day, you will be inspired, equipped, and challenged to take action to unlock higher levels of success in your sales career. You're about to be coached by some of the sales world's leading thought leaders and influencers. So grab a pen and a notepad and get ready to take action as we join our challenge hosts, Larry Levine and Daryl Amy.
Good morning and welcome back to the 2023 Authentic Selling Challenge. Larry, we have got a great day today. Liz Wendling's in the house.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. By the way, thank you, Jackie, for stepping in yesterday. I love you. Did an amazing job.
Absolutely. Jackie rocked it yesterday. We had an incredible day with Meredith Elliott Powell. In fact, what I'd love for you to do if you're watching in live is, and even if you're watching later, if you're watching the video, put in the chat, like, what is one thing that you got yesterday from Meredith that you go, that's something I'm going to put to work right away. It's just so fun seeing everybody chiming in here this morning. I love it. I love it. I love it. How do I make my life easier for my prospects? Great insight, Donna. And this is so powerful. And that brings me all the way back to Dawn, right? Let's make doing business easy. All of that. So it's so fun seeing all the chat in here. We've got a great day ahead.
Yes, we do.
This week is all about kicking off the year with authenticity, because right now, in the marketplace that we're in today, it's more important than ever that we show up with authenticity. And that means authentic relationships. It means authentic value. All of that comes together and what it means to selling from the heart. And we've been challenging you to answer the question that every guest on our podcast answers. And Larry, what question is that?
Let me think. What does it mean to you to sell from the heart? And it's interesting. It's been great seeing some of the videos that we've been getting.
All right. Well, we got one this morning that we picked out of the, we said we got to show this one. You see this guy every morning in the challenge because he always says, "Good morning, Royals." And this is our good friend, John Schroeder. Let's see what John Schroeder answered with his answer to the question, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
And I just want to give a quick shout out to Jackie, Bill, Larry, and Daryl, and everything that you guys have done in the last year that I've been affiliated with Selling from the Heart, and really what it means to me, John Schroeder, one of the many Royals across the globe. And that is I always think I've been a little on that side, but I think just, bringing the awareness to the forefront, for me personally, on a day-to-day basis, with all the interactions I have, whether it's personal or it's professional, just being more intentional, being more purposeful, and just heartfelt, and just truly giving a rip about other people. Thanks for all you guys do, and I really appreciate being a part of this community.
Love Schroeder, you make me smile all the time. I'm sitting here watching. I've seen this video about 10 times already. When I want to get a good smile, all I got to do is watch a Schroeder video. I just love John.
I think so. I love it. I love the intentionality behind it. And that's one of the biggest takeaways I'm getting this week is being authentic. It's intentional. We've got to show up intentionally. We've got to work on ourselves intentionally. It's a daily thing. And thank you, John, so much. And I thank you to everybody who is turning in a video, putting it out there, saying, what does it mean to me to sell from the heart? Well, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to grab my phone and I'm going to record it, and you can put it on your LinkedIn. We'll watch for it. Just tag Selling from the Heart. Or you can put it in the challenge group. I want everybody to join the private challenge group, and I put it in the chat right here. And we're going to do a drawing this week, and we're going to randomly select from all the people that submit videos. We're going to do a drawing, and you're going to get a complimentary access to the Discover Your Authentic Selling Style program. I'm so excited about that. And to set this up and to set up Liz as she's back there in the green room, I can see her smiling right now. She is like a horse at the gate going, put me in, put me in. She is laughing. We're going to have such a good time today. To set all this up, we wanted to pull a quote from one of our favorite books, which is The Heart of Authentic Selling.
And if you haven't read it, go grab it.
Grab The Heart of Authentic Selling. This is so powerful. And while you're there, get Selling Without Selling Your Soul too. Just go ahead and get them both. If you don't have them, you need these on your desk. But Liz says something really, really powerful, and that is selling is about stepping into your sales conversations with genuineness, competence, and rock solid confidence, and doing it in a way that's congruent with who you are. And Larry, that word congruent, I think, is such a pivotal word when it comes to authenticity.
No, absolutely. Because oftentimes, we're asked, how would you define authenticity? In simple, I just sum it up by saying congruent. And congruent in does the walk. Just really simple. Here's what I want us to think about. It goes back to what you can control is, does the walk match the talk? It's simple as that.
Absolutely. And here's the challenge. The challenge is many of us, when we got in sales, were told, hey, this is how you sell. This is what you say. This is what you don't say. This is how you dress. And all of that stuff was good. But there's a time where we've got to bring our authentic selves to that. It's got to be adapted to our own selling style. Otherwise, we risk showing up as a corporate robot. And if there's no authenticity, there's no trust, there's no sale. I mean, a lot of things just unfold when we don't show up with our authentic self. So that's why I'm so excited to launch this year one of our core initiatives inside Selling from the Heart, which is helping you discover your authentic selling style. And this program that we've put together is, I think, going to be so pivotal in helping individuals and hopefully sales teams as well. Imagine everyone on the sales team knowing their authentic selling style. And Larry, this is going to be something that I think is going to be a game changer for so many people out there when they realize, wow, I finally discovered the authentic me, the title of your first chapter in Selling from the Heart.
Yeah, I think that it's really pivotal, especially this year, for us to really take a step back and say, you know what? I can control what I can control. I can control how I show up. And how you show up is going to determine what happens next in a lot of these conversations. And this year, this is the time to bring your authentic self to the forefront even more. It's a game changer in how you connect and relate to your clients and your future clients.
Yeah, we've been rolling this out throughout the week. I just want to touch on a couple things that are going to be part of this. The very first thing that you're going to encounter is you're going to get a full YOS profile. And this is where you're going to discover your why, your what, and your how. We've been using this internally at Selling from the Heart, and it has been a game changer for us. It's been a game changer for me personally, understanding what drives me. And I think this is foundational to figuring out, why do you get up in the morning? What's your core purpose in life? And how can you align that with what you sell?
Absolutely. And then you can take this one step farther and then just share it. Start sharing your why. And by the way, if you all are not familiar with the OS part of this, it's your operating system.
That's right. It's like the iOS, right? It's the YOS.
Exactly. But just, once you really uncover this, it was interesting. Once I uncovered my why, my how, and my what, all of a sudden the light went off and I go, now I understand why I was doing all these things for decades in the sales world.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something we want every single person in the challenge to take advantage of, because showing up authentically is a game changer in today's marketplace. As we discussed yesterday with Meredith, this is such a critical time to make sure that we're in a place where we can be congruent and build trust. And we've put this program together to help you do that. And there's a special offer for everybody engaged in the challenge here. And I'm so excited about all of that. So check that out at sellingfromtheheart.net/selling-style, or click the link in the chat. I'm sure someone will drop that one in the chat, and we'll have that in the follow-ups as well. Put this on your agenda. This is going to be time well invested, because when we can show up with our authentic self, this is the heart of authentic selling. This is what really makes things tick. And we've got live here in the studio today, probably for many of you, she's been a friend of Selling from the Heart. But if you haven't met Liz Wendling yet,
where you been?
Absolutely gonna love this. So without further ado, let's welcome to the 2023 Authentic Selling Challenge, Liz Wendling.
Oh, and the crowd goes wild, Liz.
I'm going
The
wild
chat's
too.
blowing up. It's going crazy. We're going to melt the internet. Hey, this is so fun. I'm so glad you're here for this challenge.
Thank you. You guys throw a great sales party.
Well, this is a party, and it's fun watching all the chat coming in on this right now, because I know you've been such a gift, such a blessing to so many different people inside the Selling from the Heart community. The times that we've gotten to spend together have been so inspirational, and I'm so glad you're here today to talk about this topic, because it is so near and dear to all of our hearts. I know it's near and dear to your heart, and it's right in the title of the book right here. There it is. Look at that, dog-eared. We got post-it notes, the heart of authentic selling, all of that. So as we kick this whole thing off, though, that quote we put up earlier about congruence, I know the full first chapter of this book is about that. Where do we, what happens when we show up and I'm going to frame this around what happens when we show up and we're inauthentic? Like, what's the result of that? Because we're talking about all the benefits so far this week, but what's the flip side of this?
Well, when we show up inauthentic, we're showing up as a fake version of ourselves. And as soon as that happens, then everything about the relationship you're about to build or the situation you're about to get in is built on a weak foundation. It's inauthentic. So how do you keep showing up as inauthentic? It'd be easier if you showed up as yourself the first time, and then you don't have to fake it the rest of the time. You just keep showing up as yourself each and every time.
So here's what's interesting, and let's just continue to peel this back on this inauthentic. Is I think we just need to bring this to the forefront even more, because I'm going to challenge everyone out there, and I'd be curious as you all put this in the chat, and Liz, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, is how many people in sales teams and sales bullpens out there believe they're being authentic, but come across as being inauthentic. Listen to that. I mean, think about that for a moment.
Oh, Larry, I see this so much. And first of all, the word authenticity or authentic is thrown around today like confetti. I even noticed there's a product called Authentic Shampoo.
No, get out of here. Get out of here.
Well, this is all what we need. If we could just use authentic shampoo, then we got a sponsor. Everything's great.
Liz, look, I don't have to worry about that. So I'm all good.
Okay, well, for Larry, if he can't use authentic shampoo.
That's how far it's gone, that we're putting that word on everything. But if we use it on everything, then what does it really mean?
Exactly.
And the place that I see, and just like what you said, Larry, professionals are taught, just be authentic, just go out and be yourself, be authentic. But what's actually happening is when they go out and try to be authentic, the way they're connecting, communicating, collaborating, and showing up is making them look inauthentic. So when someone says to me, can you show me how to be more authentic? Or can you teach me how to sell with authenticity? I usually say that the most powerful way to be authentic is to stop being inauthentic. It's like, really? Wow, I never thought of that. So it's noticing when you're doing the thing you do that keeps you from being who you are, the real you. So your job from today forward is to be aware and to start noticing where those inauthentic patterns and behaviors show up for you that are keeping you from being purposeful and powerful in the world. So the question is not about how could you be more authentic, it's where are you being inauthentic about your authenticity. And when you show up, who shows up? Are you showing up with your ego self or your authentic self?
And this requires work. And you can't, I'm just a big proponent. You just can't wake up, flip the light switch on and say, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to try authenticity today.
Right.
Right. It just doesn't work that way. We're all authentic human beings, I believe.
We are.
It's just how we choose to carry ourselves. And it goes back to we're 100% responsible for how we carry ourselves.
And people can actually tell. When I say people, I mean all of us individually can tell. And here's how you can tell if you're coming from your ego self. Because the ego self is driven by a need for approval. It has this high desire to be liked and a huge concern for how you're being perceived. So the ego has this image to maintain. It must look good all the time. It must make sure it has all the answers. But when you're coming from your authentic self, there's no need to look outward for acceptance or look to others to get approval. There's no worry or care about what anyone else thinks, because you are being you, because you're confident in the way that you show up. Like Larry said, authenticity is your natural state. It's your factory setting at birth. We are all born authentic, but many adults have changed those factory settings around authenticity because it's been beaten out of us, conditioned out of us by a society that tells us who we are isn't good enough, or that you have to be different or act different in order to fit in and be accepted. And we're also told you need to be more, buy more, do more, learn more, get more. And we wind up in this vicious cycle. And the worst part is it pulls us right out of our true self, right off of our natural course.
Wow. I'm mind blowing. What you just said, that whole thing was so mind blowing. If you're watching this later, there's another rewind moment, because this whole thing, I just want to go back to the ego again and just peel some of this back. You talked about the ego wants approval, right? The ego wants approval. This is a dilemma because we're in sales. What's the job of a salesperson? It's to get things approved, right? We're looking for looking for the order to be approved. But if we show up wanting approval, we're in big deep water here. So what are some like red flags where you have that emotional awareness to go, oh, wait a second, I'm looking for approval?
It really is knowing yourself and knowing if it's coming from a fear-based part of you, or is it really all about I want the sale, or is it true just about this is my job and this is what I'm supposed to do? There's a spectrum that it will fall on. So are you truly coming from that true self where this is my job and I want to do a great job, or am I so attached to getting something and there's a fear base to it? So we have to look at the spectrum. We're all on it, but where we are and how we show up will change. And I like to bring this up. If I asked 100 people, how do you know if someone you're meeting is showing up with their ego? How do you know if someone is sitting down with you and they're showing up with their ego self, not their true self? And most people, if not all, would say that someone with an ego is loud, abrasive. They're the center of attention.
Yep.
They could be pushy, arrogant, obnoxious, maybe even a bully, a jerky know-it-all, and someone who won't take no for an answer. But here's the thing they are usually blown away with when they don't realize that someone with an ego can also show up as, are you ready? Needy, anxious, worried, passive, nervous, desperate, insecure, people-pleasing, trying too hard, and being too nice. That's the ego as well. So there's two sides of the ego coin. One is outward, loud and obnoxious. One is inward, quiet, shy, and passive. One is superior and one shows up as inferior. So both are ego-based because they're centered on the person. They're centered on you. And both sides of the ego coin can affect your sales results. But only you know, like I said, only you know if it's coming from a fear-based part of you, or are you just a bully and that's what you choose to be and you don't care? Or are you being, let's say, shy because you have a fear of putting yourself out there? So it's something to look at because it shows up, but if you don't know why it's showing up and what's underneath the surface, think of it as an iceberg. So I see what's on the top of the iceberg, but if you don't know what's going on underneath the iceberg, you can't get to the tip and figure out why am I acting that way.
Oh, this is good. I just have to drill into something that you said, and there's a lot to unpack there, but I want to touch on this people pleasing side because this can be the rest of our conversation could just all go around this just because I know Liz really well, is really key in on this people pleasing, because how many times in sales Do we worry about the people pleasing part of this? It comes across in our conversations because we're apologetic all the time, or it comes across in our emails because we're apologetic all the time because we don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers. And it's interesting that you just that's the first thing I drilled on, is how many times do we bring this to the forefront? And it circles all the way back to, I believe, lack of confidence in who you are, what you stand for, and the words and the messaging that you use.
Right. And not knowing yourself.
Yep.
And first of all, we all have an ego. So if anybody here is thinking, oh, I don't have one, if you don't think you have one, you probably have a really big one. And, because we all have one. If we have a heartbeat, we have an ego.
Oh, Lord.
But, so the only thing you can do with your ego, and then Larry, I'd really like to go in on the people pleasing, but you can't get rid of it, but you can have less ego. You could quiet your ego. You could put your ego down for a nap. You can diminish its power. You could lower the volume. You can rein it in. You can check your ego at the door, but you'll never get rid of it. You just have to be aware of where it's showing up and how it's getting in the way of how you're communicating with people.
It's, you know, it's interesting because maybe it's just the older that I get. I become more cognizant of the conversations that I'm having now and what's transpiring during these conversations than ever before. And I think it goes back to that. But I've just said, I've learned to check my ego at the door a long time ago, except for when I have conversations with Daryl, then it's like a battle of the egos, but nevertheless.
But this is such a, like, the environment we're in right now. I think this is so, I don't get that. I don't think that most of the people that tune into the Authentic Selling Challenge and part of the Selling from the Heart community are bullies or, you know, jerks or anything. Not like that. That's not our problem around here. But this other side is something we really got to pay attention to, because
the people pleasing side.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And that is how an inauthentic pattern actually shows up. And I see this a lot when I'm working with people, and how I distinguish it is someone is being nice versus being authentic. And many people believe that the opposite of being nice is being a self-centered jerk, being rude, it's aggressive, it's being pushy, poking people in the chest and telling them exactly how you feel. And that is not. The opposite of being nice is being real. It's being authentic. When you want to appear nice and you try to be nice, you're trying to be authentic, that actually keeps you from stepping into that authentic space. You look inauthentic when you're trying to be authentic. Anytime you have to try to be something, it means you're not. So it takes you into that different version of yourself. And if what I'm talking about, if nice doesn't resonate with you, maybe it is you're being passive or something else. But you know your inauthentic pattern, and whether it's keeping the peace or just pick one. Sometimes we have 2, 3, or 5. But if your intention is to show up and be liked and be nice, how you do that will always influence how you show up in your sales conversations. The desire to be nice hijacks a heart-to-heart authentic conversation, and it makes you adjust who you're being to fit the mold and perceptions of other people. You want them to see you in a different light. So when you choose nice over authentic, you unplug from that authentic connection that you have. Choosing to be nice prevents you from creating deeper relationships and closing more business.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So here, I want to go back to a word that you used, and you used the word real. And I'm just going to throw something down. Just as authenticity is being thrown around, and who knows, maybe it's the 2023 buzzword of the year, should be the 21 and 22 buzzword of the year as well, is I believe the word real is being thrown around just as much as I'm being authentic. What's real look like? Describe, because everyone just says, hey, I'm just being real. Let's just be real. In looking at this through Liz's eyes, what does real look like? I'm just curious.
I do think it's a version of authenticity, but I think it's a word that's, I'm just being real, meaning I'm just going to say what's on my mind. I don't care how it lands on you. I don't really care about how I'm coming across because I'm just being real. So even though it's a form of authenticity, I think it's a form taken a little too far, and it can be negative and actually mean versus authentic, which can be kind. And when I see people using that, whether it's being too nice or I'm just being real, your potential clients can feel this. If you think you're fooling them by showing up and being nice and being compliant, I'm telling you, they're feeling something. Something is out of alignment for them. They might not be able to put their finger on what it is, but they can feel that maybe you're being nice because you have a hidden agenda. You're being nice just to get the business. And then watch out, once you get me as a client or hire me, I'm going to totally change. Or they sense that you have a big motive behind the niceness. So what happens is they need to be cautious and they pull back. And like I said, sometimes people can't explain what's troubling them or rubbing them the wrong way in this conversation, because we've all had people that have been too nice to us. And there was something behind it. And we'd walk away going, okay, that was weird. So it triggers distrust. It doesn't trigger trust. It triggers this gut feeling of, this person's not being straight with me and I better run for the hills.
Wow. I've seen it.
Yep.
And I've been it. We've been that, like, let's just be honest. Wow. This is like so revealing and critical right now. You mentioned that fear is the trigger of the ego, and we're in an environment that is charged with fear. There's fear about the economy, fear about the interest rates, fear about war. There's people being laid off. You're afraid of losing your job. I mean, and the fear is being pushed down from, some companies into their sales teams. There's like this fear. Our clients are feeling fear. Let's think together. What do we recommend to dispel some of this fear so we actually don't get shoved into the ego corner?
That's a really good question and super deep. And when you named all the things that are fear externally, all the stuff that's happening externally, I want to talk about the fear that's happening internally. Because if you don't get that, all the other stuff doesn't matter. So when fear shows up in people and the ego is taking over, and your ego is not taking a nap at this point or sound asleep. When I hear salespeople say, I don't want to be one of those pushy, salesy people, I worry that people will think I'm only in it for the sale. I don't like talking about money, or it makes me uncomfortable. I don't want anyone to think I'm trying to sell them something. That's my favorite. Really? Then what the heck are you here for? I hope I don't do or say the wrong thing. And these are all ego statements because they're all about you and what you think and what you want to be and how you want to come across. Even though on the other side, you might be saying, well, I'm all about the customer. I put their needs first. I'm all about them. They're number one in my eyes. So on one side, you're saying, I don't want to be pushy, salesy, or aggressive, but they are number one in my eyes. You can't have both. And you can't make those declarative statements about what you don't want to be, because you need to make a statement of how you want to be and how you want to show up and handle the fear that's inside around those statements of, I don't like selling. I don't want anyone to think I'm trying to sell them something. That's a fear-based declarative statement.
What I love about this conversation, and I know I've just been monitoring the chat, so I know there's some sales leaders that are in on this chat as well, is this needs to start, and this conversation and coaching needs to happen at the leadership level. And unfortunately, I don't see enough sales leaders, sales managers, however y'all want to identify to yourself, bringing this up onto the table and having these types of conversations. These are make or break conversations, because how you have these conversations in your office is going to determine how your salespeople have these type of conversations out in the field with your clients. You got to lead the way with this.
And many already know. They have people on their team that, oh, he's a know-it-all, or she never asks for the sale, or that one over there never follows up. all of those are signs
Yeah.
that the ego's taking over. And if you address those individually and you start peeling back those layers and you get to the essence of who you really are, then you can help your sales team on so many levels, because it's right there. We all make those statements about people. When I worked in corporate, it was like, oh, you don't want to talk to him on a Monday morning. Those are signs that that's where you need to start putting the work. It's not about your CRM. It's not about your office chair. It's not about there's too much light coming in the window. We all want to blame all those external things because it's easier to change the seat you're sitting in or lower the shade down. But it's much harder to go inside and figure out, why do I act that way? Why do I say those things? Why do people trigger me in the way they trigger me? That is so much harder to do than to either go get another job or think you need a new CRM.
It's just all. Hey, Daryl, it all requires work. I'm having flashbacks of Jack Hubbard, and just a special shout out to Jack Hubbard, because he dropped us on the sales challenge a couple years ago. Is authenticity without action is not authenticity. And that just had flashes as I'm listening to what you're saying. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Jack, because this requires doing some deep work and then putting it into action. If you just do the work and you don't put it into action, then what?
And imagine getting to a point where you don't have to act anymore and you are just it. You just be. You show up and you are you, because you know you have stepped into that place, like that quote you started with, that is just you, with that full confidence in, here's who I am. I never have to think about, am I coming across authentic? Because I'm being it. I'm so practiced at it. I know it, instead of, is my ego being the star of the show?
This reminds me so much of the conversation we just had with Carrie McCann on one of our team members on the Selling from the Heart podcast. And it was about, the big part of that conversation was about how sales, in some ways, the situations we put ourselves in by being in the sales profession push us to the end of ourselves. Like there's a lot of, and this is why I love the sales profession, is it challenges you to your core if you let it. And even if you don't, it does. But what are you going to do about that? And I saw Joel's comment earlier on about, even all the way to the point of challenging you with dealing with trauma that might have happened in your life earlier, or inside the sales profession. I mean, all of this deep work, it brings it to the surface when you realize that this is a barrier to all of this. And this deep work, we say a lot here at Selling from the Heart, soft skills yield hard dollars. This thing that feels a little bit squishy, thinking about, my inner life and my ego and all of these things. I mean, what's the annual expense of your ego to, getting, what's it costing you every year? If you just want to put some dollars, what's it costing you personally over a decade? For many people on this call, this ego thing is costing you millions of dollars because of the barrier. Because when we get this thing right, everything else you do starts becoming more effective.
It is so true. And when you get there, the person who walks in the room is different. The conversations are different. They're more interactive. They're good. They're rich. They're deep. They're appealing. They're fluid and fun. And before you know it, it's life and business gets so much easier because you've addressed all that other stuff that's tamping you down.
And you know what's interesting about this, and I'd love to see some of the questions that come in for Liz, is what's really interesting about this. These are all, whether salespeople believe it or not, or sales leaders believe it or not, these are the things that rapid fire are going through your client's head and your future client's head in these conversations. And I want us to really think about, especially on the new side of this. So when you're salespeople, you're walking into brand new, net new meeting conversations. I promise you this, these are the things that are going on in somebody's head right away. They're not telling you, but it's rapid fire going on. Is this person authentic? Is this person genuine? They can tell in your tonality, in your body language, how you're looking at them, how you come across. And this all happens in the first 5 minutes. And the only reason I know is we do this internally.
Or in the first email. Sometimes that even shows up even before two human beings get together.
I love the Liz email advice.
And we don't even have time to go through that.
No, don't. Hold me back.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, the nice emails. The nice emails is so funny. I just want to circle back. Just checking in.
Just
stop.
Just stop really quick.
I know you're busy. I'm not. So, I'm so sorry to bother you again.
Oh, it's great.
Until questions come in, you got to drop some of these. Just try. You got to drop some Lizisms on emails, inauthentic emails that are squishy and nice. Just start rattling them off.
Oh my gosh. I would say, I don't mean to bother you. I know you get a lot of emails, so I'll be brief. I know you have a lot going on. I know you're busy and I don't want to waste your time. I know your plate is full, so I'll get to the point. I'll be quick. Excuse my persistence. Sorry to trouble you. I hate to keep bugging you, but I'm going to do it anyway. I know I'm not sure if you got my last 44 messages.
Oh, man. Just stop it.
Stop me. Stop me. I have hundreds more.
Just stop doing it.
Stop.
Bill, before we wrap, Bill has been insistent that you talk about the F word, and I'm now a little concerned, Bill. This is a PG podcast.
Well, the F word I know Bill is referring to is the word follow-up. And if everybody today stopped using that F word, along with their counterparts, touching base, reaching out, and checking in. I mean, billions of people are following up, touching base, reaching out, and checking in every day, and nobody's getting back to them. So that's a big hint that follow-up doesn't work. We've got to change our language around.
Oh, Lord.
Bill just wants to bump that to the top of your inbox. This has been such a fun conversation, Liz, and I love it when we totally get to hang out like this.
And I hope everybody knows there's no one simple maneuver to get out of your ego into authenticity. I'm not going to give you a download of 3 easy steps, or for $19.99 you can fix this overnight. This is going to take some work. There's a way. It's like maneuvering out of a straitjacket. It's going to take you a little while, but once you're out, you are free to go. Really quick. Really quick. Can we let's just follow up on this really quick. No. Can you just drop, before we part, can you just drop three things really quick that somebody can do just to start down the road? Just rattle 3 things off. Someone's going, hey, where do I start? Right? I totally get this. I got to start working on this. Just give me 3 quick things that they can really think about and reflect every single morning. First one I would say is awareness. Take a look at yourself when you are hopping on a Zoom call and ask yourself, oh, am I prepared? Am I ready? How do I feel? Is something not right and aligned with me before I get in front of someone? So there's always going to be a feeling that starts the inauthenticity. And second, I would say check your emails and see if you are all about yourself. I would love to do this. I'd love to get together. I'd love to do a demo for you. And a lot of I statements, that's a great place to start. And then finally, is to be authentic with your authenticity. Really get real where you are noticing, I just left that meeting and I didn't say what I really wanted to say, or I said yes to something I wanted to say no to.
Yeah.
Start digging into that. And those are signs and places to go, little doorways to open that you get to walk through and clean up.
Nice. Hey, Daryl, there's a question, just really quick, and then we'll wrap up. As I saw what Jerry Kleeman put, but I'm not sure I understand what language she should use. In
the emails, right? And I think what you were saying is so practical, Jerry. And this or Liz, this is something I learned from you: is skim back through that email and look for every I in there and take it out, right?
Yeah, and take it out. Make it collaborative. It's more you than it is I.
Yeah.
If your emails are all about you, then why would somebody say, oh, I want to talk to this person? She's so self-centered. Yes, count me in.
It's a walking ego.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, I
Oh.
want everybody to go grab The Heart of Authentic Selling. And while you're at it, grab Liz's other book as well, Selling Without Selling Your Soul. And when you do that, leave a review for one or both of them on Amazon for her. Let's cheer her on, because this is pure gold. Liz, how can folks get more Liz Wendling in their life?
Oh, they can go to my website, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. And heck, they can even pick up the phone and call me.
Wow.
Okay,
have
so
no problem.
just one. So for those who don't know how to find Liz, just drop your website just really quick. What's your website?
It's lizwendling.com.
That one's easy. We'll put it in all the follow-up as well. Liz, thank you so much for sharing time with us today on the challenge. This has been super incredible. You rock.
You are fun. Thank
We
you.
love
so
Liz
much.
Wendling.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, what a great challenge. What a great challenge. And this, oh my gosh, so many good things from this conversation. But I'm just struck with the cost of inauthenticity. Like, to personally, to each one of us, to a sales team, all of that. And this is why I think what we're doing here is so critical in terms of, especially now, where we got to be focused in what we're doing and intentional about it. This challenge, Larry, what a great week so far.
It has. And I just encourage everybody who's watching or watching later on the recording is you can control all this, right? Control, excuse me, and control. You're 100% responsible for this. Dig in, do the work. This work will pay off. It's going to be difficult, but it's going to be rewarding.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so excited about Discover Your Authentic Selling Style. We've put this together to give you something to grab onto, to go, okay, well, what's my why? What's my selling style? And over 8 self-guided sessions, you're going to be able to get back, peel that onion back, and really do some deep work, all ending in a conversation with a Selling from the Heart mentor. It's going to be really, really great. I'm so excited for this. And if you're one of the folks this week that turns in a video, what does it mean to me to sell from the heart? We'll enter you in a drawing. You get, we're going to give one of these away. So it's so much fun. Larry,
wait, there's more.
but wait, what's coming up tomorrow, Larry?
Yeah, I would say this, right? Y'all are in for a treat. Brent Adamson is, I tell you what, I remember the first time Brent Adamson came on our podcast at Selling from the Heart. 3.5 pages of notes, and we're trying to podcast at the same time. Brent Adamson's the author of The Challenger Sale, The Challenger Customer. He used to work for Gartner. He is going to drop some things tomorrow. Be prepared. You never know what's going to come out of Brent's mouth, but I promise you this, it's gold. You're in for a treat if you don't know Brent Adamson.
Several times while Liz was talking and talking about showing up and pushing back, and just saying no. Sometimes this is the essence of being a challenger, and saying that, hey, I'm going to challenge this. I'm going to be authentic. And Brent's latest work and what he's up to right now, you're not going to want to miss tomorrow. Make sure to share this with your peers, your friends, any sales networks that you're a part of. Having the honor of Brent in the house tomorrow is going to be phenomenal. And Larry, every day this week, I've been learning stuff. That's why I love hosting this challenge. It's just such an inspiration for me. And it's an inspiration hearing from everybody out there. Thanks to everyone for participating in the chat, for getting engaged in the LinkedIn challenge group, where you'll get to meet some of these other people that are in the chat with you, as well as other like-hearted sales professionals. And we got so much great stuff going on right now, and this week is exciting. I can't wait for tomorrow.
No, absolutely. And I'll just end with this: is join us on this movement. I mean, here at Selling from the Heart, we're on a mission, and that mission is to bring authenticity, integrity, and trust back into the sales profession. It's sorely lacking. It's sorely needed. Help share our message. Help share the movement. Share what you learned today. Share what you've learned over the last couple of days. Help us grow this message. And we sincerely thank each and every one of you.
Yeah, let's take what Liz shared with us today. Grab your notes. Go back. This one's a rewind and take notes on, because there's some deep work that I need to do, and I know that we all need to do. when it comes to how we show up, whether we're showing up with fear, the ego, the whole thing. They're so, so powerful. So thanks again, Liz. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody that's here live. And if you're watching in later, we appreciate you too. We got great things coming up. Share it, AuthenticSellingChallenge.com, AuthenticSellingChallenge.com. You can remember that and share that. Let's get a huge crowd here tomorrow for Brent Adamson. We're going to learn a lot. So keep being authentic. And until tomorrow,
we'll see you guys
from the heart. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope today's 2023 Authentic Selling Challenge has left you feeling inspired to put your new knowledge into action to grow your business. Please share the challenge with your coworkers, family, and friends while we all make a difference together. We look forward to continuing this journey with you tomorrow.